I'll be with you in just a moment. Suite aux analyses lundi, un diagnostic d'état de stress post-traumatique a été établi. Un traitement médicamenteux est prescrit accompagné de TCC et de séances de thérapie.
Right, that segment there, fellas, has so much gold. Okay? What is the first thing people notice about you? In fact, let's go one step back. What is the most important thing in a social interaction? It is your first impression. The first impression you give before you open your mouth. Okay? This first impression people generate of you is going to come from your body language. The way you move, the way you walk, subtle cues that we can use. Now, why is this first impression so important? Then I'm going to break down some tactics of how to generate a really good first impression. The reason the first impression is so important, fellas, is because it is the frame that people perceive you from. The interaction starts here. Their first impression of you will dictate how they treat you. If you have a beta male, low status first impression, you will be treated that way. Whereas if you have an alpha male, quote unquote, I don't really like this term, if you have an alpha or high status first impression, people are going to treat you like you're a high status man. Now, let me go back. We're going to rewatch this clip and I'm going to show you what he does in his walk and a few other tactics you can use that tap deep into people's psychology that we can use to make them think, this guy, who is he? He's a high status man. I need to respect him. I want to know him. I want to date him. Let me take you through this now, fellas.
Take a seat. I'll be with you in just a moment. Suite aux analyses lundi.
Right, the first meta tactic. When I say meta tactic, I mean a tactic, a principle that can be applied to loads of different fields in this. The first meta tactic is smooth and slow movement. If you've watched this channel before, if you've been in any of my programs, you know I repeat this all the time. Slow, smooth movement is the key because it's so important. Why? Human beings, we tend to associate people who have slow, smooth movement with them being high status or high ranking. High ranking men move slower. And this is simply because they perceive themselves to be in control. So they take their time to signal that to other people. I am in control here. You work on my fucking schedule, not yours. So that's the first thing you can do instantly. Everything you do with your body language is slow and smooth. The second thing, I'll rewind and show you.
Take a seat. I'll be with you in just a moment. Suite aux analyses lundi.
Watch his shoulder movement. This is, again, one of the most important things you can do. You want swinging or swiveling shoulders. You don't want them going back to forth like you're going up fucking Mount Everest. You want just a little bit of swagger, a little bit of roll in your shoulders. This is extremely confident, again, because if we look at how 99% of men behave, they have zero shoulder movement. Why? What does that signal? Well, it signals they're tensed up. That's why there's no shoulder movement, and hence they're nervous. People pick up on these subtle cues, especially women. They are much more perceptive than men. Okay? So if you're nervous, what do you think that makes her think? You're on a date with her, you're in a restaurant, you're at the gym, you're in normal society and you're nervous. When shit hits the fan, when shit goes bad, what do you think she's thinking? If he's nervous now on a date with me, I'm 5'3" and I weigh 40 kilos. I don't know how much they weigh. I'm 5'3" and I weigh 40 kilos and he's nervous. What if one day we're out and 6 armed men approach us? What's he gonna? He's gonna run away. So the reason we do these body language cues, fellas, is because it makes people perceive us. It makes people think of us in a certain way. So if you're completely cool, completely calm, completely collected, completely confident, that at least signals to her, wow, he's not like 99% of other men who, as soon as they speak to me, as soon as they step within 6 meters of me, they get all nervous. So this is a very quick way you can differentiate yourself in her head and say, yeah, this guy's different. You've already won the first impression.
Un diagnostic d'état de stress post-traumatique a été établi.
The final thing I'm going to point out about his walk, there's not much more you need to know, is watch where he's looking. Okay?
Suite aux analyses lundi, un diagnostic d'état de stress post-traumatique a été établi.
His eyes have stayed fixed on one location, on one target. This is a very, very easy, powerful tactic you can use to make yourself look simply more assertive, more confident, more calm, and probably the most important one is you don't look fucking creepy. Let me explain this creepy point first. When a woman calls you creepy, when anyone calls you creepy, it's not because you're just inherently a creepy guy. It's because you're doing behaviors. You've got body language that together in a cluster makes other people perceive you as creepy. One of the biggest creepy body language cues that people use that makes people think you're that, and this is the worst thing to have thought of you, is darty eye contact. Your eyes are looking all over the place. This is not only going to make you creepy. First of all, it makes you look needy. It makes it look like you get zero, that no women like you, that you're constantly on the hunt. And it also makes you look nervous, if that's not enough negative reasons. So you see what James does here. He picks his target and he stays locked onto the target as he walks. Now, we are going to get into some advanced eye contact stuff here, because staring at someone or eye contact like this 100% of the time is even worse. So we're going to get into some advanced eye contact later. I'm going to give you the basics of it because you don't want to get it wrong. Okay? So just to recap, fellas, when you're walking to a location, you put your eyes on the location you're walking to and you fix your eyes on one place. This is going to make you look extremely assertive, extremely confident, because again, 95% of men can't do this. Their eyes are dancing all over the place. It's going to make them look nervous, weak, insecure, needy, and fucking creepy.
Un traitement médicamenteux est prescrit accompagné de TCC et de séances de thérapie crânio-sacrale.
Right, this is super important. We're going to get into this later, or maybe in the next part, in part 2, because it's going to be a part 2 to this video. But this, obviously we can't see it, it's slightly blurry, but this is what I call the high status seating position. Again, this is super important. This is something that's also going to influence your first impressions of someone, how they sit. So we have to get this right. And there is a bundle of tactics we can use to sit in a way that makes us look A, extremely confident, B, high status and high ranking, but arguably most important as it comes to seduction and attraction, C, it's going to do what we call reverse the power dynamic and make her chase your attention. Yes, just by sitting in a certain way. We're going to get to that in a minute.
Please excuse me.
Right. Let me take you through how to sit. Or not. I'm not going to take you through the advanced nitty-gritty tactics. I'm going to take you through the few high-level tactics. First thing, this is another meta lesson, a meta tactic. Leaning back. When you lean back in any scenario, you signal to the other person, you must work for my attention. You do not get it for free. When you lean back, that's what you signal to other people. Whereas if you lean forward, what does it tell them? It tells them that I don't need to work. I don't need to earn your attention. I already have it. And why this is so detrimental with women especially is because, as you know, women, especially young women in their early 20s, full of estrogen and whatever, they love a challenge. You also have to think about any attractive woman, so I'm talking an 8, a 9, a 10. How do you think most men behave around them? They give them all this free attention. There's no challenge. So, do you know what you can do to stand out? You can create a challenge. How do you if you're challenging, which basically means you don't give free attention. That's what that actually tactically means. It's again going to put you in a separate bucket of men. You're instantly going to stand out from 99% of men. So tactically, how do we do that? Leaning back. Because again, it's going to signal you do not get my attention for free. You have to earn it. And again, that's going to make her want to chase your attention, because there is nothing a woman wants more than the attention of a high-ranking man. There is nothing on planet Earth they want more than attention and validation from a high-ranking man. So you can see why fellas, if you should be able to start seeing that, okay, well, Force is telling me, okay, Force is telling me, okay, these are the tactics you use to make other people perceive you as high ranking, high status. And then these are the tactics you use to make women want your attention and validation. So you can see when you combine these fellas, you can see the outcome we're going to get. She's going to want you and be fucking obsessed with you. This is literally how you be irresistible to women, fellas. It's a very simple scientific reaction you can create if you know the advanced tactics. If you want the advanced tactics that I cannot talk about publicly for fear of getting fucking sued, all you have to do is go to the link in the description, watch the video on that page, fill in your information, and book a time to speak with a member of my team. And what they'll do is they'll walk you through my science-based program and just basically tell you everything about it. Then on the phone, you can say, yeah, that sounds really good, Forces team, sign me up. Or you can say, no, I'm all right, thank you, I don't think this is great for me. And what they'll do is, no matter what you say, if you say, no, I don't want it, they'll say, no problem, my friend. Here's some free resources from Forces Inner Circle that aren't available publicly as a thank you for showing up to the call. So click the link in the description, fill in your information, book a time to speak with a member of my team. Best case scenario, you get inside the program if we accept you. Worst case scenario, you get some stuff for free that I can't talk about publicly. Let's get on with the video, fellas.
Mr. Bond. My name is Dr. Madeleine Swan. Our job today is to analyze your needs, both psychological and physical.
Sounds pretty straightforward.
I hope you don't mind.
Right, fellas, I'm going to give you another meta lesson. Stance. Maybe I should change the color. Stance. Okay. Why is this important? Or what is stance? Stance is basically how wide you are. You see what James is doing here. Now, there's a few benefits for this. I'll break them into two categories. So the first category is how other people perceive you. What it's going to make them think about you. And the second category, fellas, is how it's going to make you feel. Right, so let's start with the first one, how it's going to make other people perceive you. When you have a wide stance, fellas, what it's going to do is you're simply taking up more space. Again, high-ranking men tend to be more territorial. They tend to take up more space. They tend to be larger, right? And this goes back to our 6 million years of evolution. Back in millions of years ago, when we were less sophisticated, less intellectual, our brains were simply smaller. Physical size was correlated with rank. If you were larger, i.e. more muscular or taller or longer or wider, you had a higher rank because you basically had the capacity to inflict more violence on other people. That's how we assigned rank and status and dominance. Nowadays, fellas, it's very different. But the thing about humans is we're fucking retarded. These 6 million years of evolution, even though we know this shit is still operating in our subconscious. So what that means is when you use these tactics, fellas, in her brain, she's still thinking this guy's a fucking alpha male. When you have a wide stance, when you take up more space, when you're more territorial. a caveat, an important rule to this. You don't want to be a fucking dickhead and walk around doing the fucking splits and with your arms fully maxed out in your wingspan. You don't want to do that. You want to be subtle with this. Because if you do it wrong, that's when it can make you look like you're trying too hard or you're putting on an act. That's why I say, fellas, if you get accepted into my program, I'll teach you the advanced tactics and exactly when to do them, how to do them, exactly when not to do them, and exactly when to do them to get the right results. Because there's a lot of nuance to this. Okay, anyway. That's another point you can use. Wide stance. I don't know why the fuck my pen is disappearing. There we go. Wide stance. And another way you can do this, fellas, is when you're standing up, simply you want to plant your feet a little bit wider than shoulder width. Very simple. And that naturally leads me to the second benefit. How you personally feel. When you take up more space, fellas, when you make yourself physically larger, i.e., by planting your feet wider, your testosterone will increase. And most of you know that, I can't spell testosterone, but most of you know that when your testosterone increases, fellas, you are going to be more confident, less fearful, and overall simply more attractive. The behaviors you're going to do subconsciously, automatically, are going to be far more attractive, far more high-ranking, far more dominant. So it's a quick testosterone boost just by planting your feet wider. It's going to make you feel a lot better. Do this shit. And as you can see again, fellas, he's leaning back, which is signaling to her, you must work for my attention. She's got a slight lean forward, which is signaling, I want your attention. I have 100% on you. And this is, as a general rule, fellas, this is how it should be when you're on a date. You, 100% of the time, and again, I'm just going to put a little asterisk here because there are a few very specific circumstances where if you lean forward, lean in, it can be stupidly effective. But we won't get into that now. It's too advanced. But most of the time, again, asterisk, you should be leaning back. And she should be leaning forward towards you. This is how, trying to find my pink. This is how women, feminine, and masculine operates. The feminine should always be pursuing the masculine. He should always be less emotionally involved. This is how you create attraction. I'm going to give you an advanced tip. You will have never heard this on the internet in your entire life. And if you did hear it, it came from me because I fucking invented this. The scientific formula for attraction between human beings. 2 components. Status plus polarity. That is it. 2 components. Status plus polarity. Polarity is the difference between masculine and feminine. And you create that difference by doing the body language cues I'm telling you about.
You can be distracting.
I hadn't noticed.
Right, one other subtle thing I want to point out is watch their mouths.
I hope you don't mind. The view can be distracting.
I hadn't noticed.
Look at James. And then if we go back to her, we will see teeth. As a rule, fellas, you don't want to be showing your teeth too often. This is a classic submission signal. Whereas showing less teeth is a classic dominant signal. And as a rule, fellas, you should, again, take this how I mean it. You should be, quote unquote, the dominant one, and she should be, quote unquote, the submissive one. Take that how I mean it. I don't mean you should be fucking dominating and she should be submitting to everything you do. No. Just your behavior. Let me give you an example so this makes sense. When I say dominant, I mean you should, for example, if you two are going out for dinner, you should say, we're going here tonight. And she should say, okay, force. That's what I mean by dominant submissive. That's what I mean. I don't mean any other fucking stupid bullshit you fucking monkeys do. No, you belong in prison. I'm talking about this. We're going here for dinner tonight. I'm driving here. We're not taking the plane, whatever. You get the point, right? The reason for this is, fellas, is because I'll go on to polarity, the second component of attraction. Polarity is created by the difference in femininity and masculinity. It's this difference that creates the attraction between men and women. If you don't have this polarity, there is no attraction. It is physically impossible for there to be an ounce of lust, an ounce of attraction, an ounce of magnetism without this. And the way you're going to create that difference, fellas, is by being dominant.
I see you filled out most of the paperwork. Just a few questions to complete your evaluation, if I may. Do you exercise?
When I have to.
Do you consider your employment to be psychologically stressful?
Sometimes.
How much alcohol do you consume?
Well, fellas, I'm going to end this video on one final advanced point. I will give you an introduction to a topic I called high status verbal communication. In other words, what words do you say to maximize attraction, maximize polarity, maximize status? In other words, how do you speak? What words do you say to maximize attraction? That's what I'm going to walk you through. Right. Disclaimer. In some circumstances, there are advanced tactics where you want to say this word after she says this word after she says this. You want to respond in this way after she tests you in this way. You want to respond in this way after she issues you this challenge. I'm not going to go into that. That's too advanced. That's some of the nitty-gritty shit you can get inside my program. But I will give you a high-level principle. I actually learned this from a fucking lawyer. A very, very successful lawyer here in London. Shut the fuck up. The more words you say, the more chance you have of fucking it up. Why? And again, this advanced psychology stuff, I go more in detail privately. But I'll give you the high level. When you speaking a lot of words is a feminine trait. Saying very little, being mysterious, is a masculine trait. Again, fellas, you can see the difference between masculinity and femininity. Okay? Also, I'll dive deeper on this, but the less you say, the more mysterious you are. Women love mystery. Mystery is one of the biggest drivers of attraction. It's if you get this component right, the attraction, the obsession, the chasing, all of this stuff, and obviously you please use this stuff ethically, you fucking losers. Don't be going around manipulating women, you fucking scumbags. Use this stuff ethically, right? Anyway, another point for another video, but mystery is one of the biggest drivers of attraction. One of the biggest ways you can create mystery is by answering questions in a roundabout way, never really giving an answer. I'll show you some examples here.
When I have to.
If I may. Do you exercise?
When I have to.
Example. Do you exercise? When I have to. That is a great example of this. Why? Because yes, you answer the question, so you're answering the question, which is good. Because what these faggots try to do that have no idea about this stuff, they try and use these gay pickup and bullshit, pickup artist, game guru bullshit lines. Women can see right through that. When you answer a question in this way, you're giving an answer. So you're not in her eyes, you're not deliberately trying to be some little mysterious gay pickup artist. No. You're answering the question, but you're revealing nothing. Most men, and again, this is what the game gurus tell you. They say, show off your dominance and status and achievements and make yourself look really cool through the words you say. So in their example, following their advice, but I go to the gym 6 times a week. I do this program. I can bench press 180 kilos. I can squat 300 kilos. I can deadlift 600 pounds. I have 18-inch biceps. I can run a 18-minute 3-mile race. I'm so fast. I'm so fit. I'm 6'3". Bullshit. Bullshit. That's not what you want to do, because in her head, she's consciously thinking this. This isn't even subconscious. She's consciously thinking, this guy's a fucking beta male. This guy's low ranking. What high ranking man, what high status man with loads of options would feel the need to brag? No. No high ranking man would feel the need to brag if he had an abundance of options. His mindset, and again, I might make a video showing some of my advanced mindset tactics that I have had for years, and they work so fucking well. But his mindset, one of the mindsets is, I have so many options. I have so much choice because I've done the work. Why on earth would I expand even a single unit of energy trying to impress you? You impress me. That's how this fucking exchange works. I'm the prize. And that is how you reverse the power dynamic without saying anything. As a rule, fellas, answer the question by giving the minimum amount of information possible.
Do you consider your employment to be psychologically stressful?
Sometimes.
Again, he's not going, yes, I'm a spy, I drive an Aston Martin, I kill this many people, I make this much money, I have a blank credit card, I work for the British government. None of that bullshit. Sometimes. Perfect response. This is a perfect example of high status verbal communication, fellas. If you enjoyed the video, use this stuff. It will change your fucking life. Just please use it. If you want more advanced tactics that I cannot talk about publicly, if you want to know what to do, how to do it, when to do it, exactly what to say, when to say, how to say it, exactly what body language to cues to use it, the exact scenarios to create the perfect amount of attraction. Because I've done all this shit for years. I have that all planned out, mapped out. If you want that, click the link in the description, watch the video, fill in your information, and schedule a time to speak with my team, and they'll be able to explain my program, my system, and why it's the literal best thing ever created in this fucking space, and why no one else can come close. And if after we explain it to you, if you're like, no, Forces team member, thanks for explaining it to me, I'm fine. What he'll do is on the call, he'll send you some of my free private resources. Sorry, not my free. He'll send you some of my paid private resources for free as a thank you for showing up to the call. Fellas, I will see you in the next one.